Hey, thanks for joining us today. Now, in studio, I have Brenda Ellingsworth, and she is a friend of mine. We have known each other for, I don't know, Brenda, at least 10 years. Our daughters played softball together. And so Brenda and your husband are raising two lovely boys.
Yes, yes, we are.
How did that happen?
Well, my daughter actually had started doing drugs when she was like 18, and we didn't hear from her for a long time. And then DSHS actually got a hold of us one night and told us that we needed to call them. And we knew she was pregnant, but we weren't sure what DSHS really wanted us to do or anything. So I got home from work, which I worked at the Richland School District as a bus driver, and I got home and I called DSHS. They wanted to set up a meeting, and they said it was about our daughter, and they asked us if we'd be willing to take our grandson. And we're like, and they told us that we had like 24 hours to make a decision, because they had to they have to move on to see if they can find a placement for the baby. And of course, right when I talked to them, I knew in my heart that I wanted to take the baby. And so I waited till Randy got home and Stacy, and we sat down and we had a family talk about how we felt about it. And my husband knew in my heart that I would never say no. And so we said yes. And we actually, they asked us if we wanted to come down the next day to meet him. And we said, of course. And I just remember walking in this big room with a little tiny bed in it, and there he was, this little tiny guy. He was so adorable. He had little, he was hooked up to little monitors because his parents were trying to abduct him. And then it just went from there. Like we took him home when he was 12 days old, and he had a lot of issues, you know, because of the drugs, low heart rate. He couldn't eat but every hour, and I was still working because I had to get up early and stay at work all day. But he ended up having to eat every hour, 1 ounce, because he was sick all the time to his stomach. And so that was interesting. So I did that for like a month, and then I couldn't stay awake anymore to drive. So then I got out of that. I figured that wasn't the thing that I needed to be doing. I needed to be staying home and taking care of him. And it's been an uphill battle, only because as he grew, we did get him in services. Right away we got him into developmental center, early Head Start, and then we have a lot of help from family, friends, our church, the community. They're in Rascal Rodeo. They go to the ARC for Partners in Pals camp, where they're at right now. And they are, you know, we try to do everything we can with them to give them a huge chance in their life.
How old are they now?
They are now 8 and going to be 10.
Oh, okay, because 8 and 10, so there was another child.
And yeah, I was going to get to that, and I was going to tell you that. And then 22 months later, we found out my daughter was pregnant again, and that she went into early labor, and Logan was born. And he was born 4 pounds, 11 ounces. And the state called us again and said, okay, we have another situation. Can you guys possibly take this baby?
Did you know she was pregnant?
I knew after she was like 6 months along. I didn't realize before then she was, because she didn't contact us. So then the baby was born early. And they asked us if we'd be willing to take this baby. Well, of course, my heart said yes.
You got a big one. You got a big heart.
And so they asked us if we wanted to come and see him, and I said yes. And Randy was at work when this all happened, and Stacy was home. So we went to Cadillac, saw him in ICU. Well, actually, what happened is, I got to tell you the story because it's very heartwarming. Walked into the ICU. There was like 7 babies laying in a bed in a row. And there was one baby that was sticking their head up, looking around. And I was like, I asked the nurse, I says, well, who's that baby belong to? That is like a strong baby. She says, that's your grandson. And I immediately started like crying. I'm like, are you? And she says, he's going to be a fighter. Because they both tested positive for meth when they were both born. And they both had a lot of complications. They had like, sleep apnea. They had different kinds of things like
they had a lot of problems.
they had a lot of problems. Yeah, they did. And so
and they still do.
and they
don't
still
they?
yes, they still do. Alex now, well, he was diagnosed when he was 3. He has Asperger's, he's OCD, and he's ADHD. So he is a handful, and he only sees black and white. He sees nothing else but black and white. Things are not funny to him when they're funny to us, or he's very black and white. He will tell you that black is really white, and he will convince you because he's very manipulative that way. And plus, he is he tries to get out of stuff. He's a very good procrastinator. And the other one, he is laid back, and he's a very he's a funny little guy. And my husband said, oh, for sure, we're gonna have trouble with him because he's a clown. Well, he is. And he causes a lot of trouble because he is a clown. But the little guy, he couldn't walk up until 3 years ago, and he always used his upper body for everything he did, and he strived to do everything that he could possibly do. Then 3 years ago, well, we had taken him to Children's all along, but 3 years ago we were approached that he was a candidate for a dorsal rhizotomy at Children's Hospital, which involved cutting into his spine, cutting the cords that are affecting his legs not to be able to walk, and cutting the cords to be able to sit straight like we do. And so we pondered over that because it was really scary for grandparents to make a decision about their grandchildren, you know, and so we decided to do that. And we stayed at Children's for a couple months for rehab, and one day he was getting rehab, and we were still kind of hoping. The doctor said he couldn't guarantee anything, but he was really praying this was going to work for Logan. And about 3 weeks into the rehab, the therapist brings him in, and he starts walking to us, and it just,
oh my gosh,
it totally just melted my heart, because what people don't understand is people that have problems, not just my kids, but other people that have problems, little tiny things to everybody else means the whole world to us. You know, because my kids didn't crawl, they didn't, you know, they didn't do this, and this. And so that was the best miracle that God could have gave us, is that he came in walking, and he was proud of it. Like, he had never been able to walk, and his little brother would always say, I want to play with Logan, but he can't walk. And it just it broke my heart. You know, you go and watch other kids with your children, and it breaks your heart.
Well, they're incredibly lucky. Those two boys are incredibly lucky to have you and your husband. I can't believe it. You've basically dedicated your life. This wasn't going to be your retirement, was it?
No. My daughter went off to college. Well, the year that she was graduating as a senior, that's the year that we took Alex. And she was already had a scholarship to go to Utah State to play softball. And our plans were, hey, we're going to go to softball every weekend if we can, and we're going to travel with her and do all those things. But that didn't happen. We chose to do the boys over that, although we got to go see Stacy play a few times. But it was like a 13-14 hour trip with the boys because we had to stop every rest area. Yeah.
Well, Brenda, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. It's incredible. And you're an awesome woman.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. We'll be back in just a moment.
Okay.
All right, we've only got just a little bit of time left, but I want to ask Brenda, what do you think society should do? What could help you the most?
Well, this is going to sound harsh, but I thought about this a lot. And I think that our society needs to get a real grip on people doing drugs and protecting their children by being made to have their tubes tied. After the second baby, and they find out their child is a meth baby, because we saw like a person having 9 babies. She had 9th baby doing meth, and her parents, it's just, wow. I think America has to take a stand on this, and I think that our legislature should really look into this, because it really does affect everyone around you. And
it's a bigger problem than just the family. The whole society is affected. Brenda, we're out of time now.
I'm sorry, I tried to-
No, you are so awesome, and you have really helped us understand this issue. And what we might want to try to do is to create some kind of a support group here. Hey, this has been such a great day. I feel good about it. I had a good time today. I hope you did too. Why don't we do it again tomorrow? Let's do it at noon.